seeing everybody tonight. To think that you guys would give up your Saturday night to come downtown to say kind of goodbye to me. And it's not goodbye. I'm going to show up at that office. I'll do it.
7 a.m.
Have fun, Steve.
3 comes
Gonna be in
up
a parking
there.
lot, wandering the parking lot.
Looking for my parking place. Speaking of that, side story. So we move out of Noonan up to Kennesaw, and I pull in the first day. They're like, "Oh, Tom, you got the nicest parking spot. You're underneath the shade tree. It's right in the back entrance. Beautiful shade tree, right by the sidewalk. Perfect." I'm like, "This is awesome." I come out the first day, and I just got this nice black Jeep Grand Cherokee, and there's bird shit. And Matt's walking with me, and he's like, I go, "Look at this." He goes, "Yeah, it was Frank Pittman. He has a bird shit machine." I remember. Oh, I was laughing.
Come on, Mark, that's funny.
But anyway. It was everywhere.
He was convinced that Frank had a bird shit super soaker.
Golf car.
He was like, "Who is this golf cart guy?"
We took my office.
But seriously, to hear the accolades and the comments that the 4 of you made tonight I am more than blown away by the sentiments that you have for me. I didn't think I mattered that much. And right now, I was like, "Do not be emotional." I'm a very emotional guy. Kathy knows it, and my kids know it. But well, you guys, telling Matt and Brooks goodbye and their things. I was up there like sniveling in the office in front of everybody. It's like, things like this they're so touched beyond belief with what you guys were saying tonight. And certain things that I look at, I mean, you guys drove here from Nashville, and to give up everything like that in your weekend all the way, and you're driving back tonight to avoid the Manning ice storm. I mean, things like that. It's like, oh my God! I think for what everybody has done to come down here and say, "Hey, Tom, thanks, man. You meant something to us." I mean, that means an awful lot. And you're only as good. I had a boss back in the Chrysler today says, "You know what? You're only as good as the people you hire." And be smart enough to hire the right people, get them in a good position, and then get the hell out of their way. I had a problem with that last part. And he knows it. Steve, luckily you came in later, and I was so like, I'm not here to cheer yourself. Boom. But it was very, very special. I came in at a bad time with Golf Car, and they really were looking at potentially shutting it down. They say there's 4 businesses we're looking at. And I was telling somebody the story earlier tonight. And Golf Car is a water purification company, which would make purification systems in Japan. The pool system, they make a lot of great big Olympic-sized pools with liners, not concrete. Golf Car, and I can't remember the 4th one, but we were losing money hand over fist. And Rocky Adarashi, who hired me, went back to Japan, and he says, "You've got to get this turned around. Our Golf Car is going to close." And we put together a business plan. We went to Japan, presented it to the board, and I'll never. At the very, very end of it, I said, "Listen, Golf Car, you guys started this business '85 in building golf cars in the U.S. and it's not the golf cart. If you guys build us a better product, we'll sell it. Just give us the faith," and they did. And Richard's responsible for the factory in Noonan, and Mike C. couldn't be here tonight, Szyznowski, but he is now the new president of all of the business units in the U.S., and he was he had Richard's role back when I started, 14 and a half years ago. And now he's the head of all the US. So they put together a plan and said, you know what, you're right, we need to build a better product. We lower our warranty costs, we turn it around, and I'll never forget, and you both were at this meeting at Mission Inn down in Orlando, that we hired Lee Trevino as our spokesperson. And I got up on stage that year, and I didn't tell anybody I was gonna say this. I said, guess what? Our business model, this was 2016. I go, we're gonna be number one in 2020. And I said, our model is, our 2020 vision is being number one. And they're all looking at me going, what? What? There's no way, man. We got 14%. Well, we weren't then. We were, Brooke, you said earlier, we got it up to like 21, 22% by then. But if it wasn't for the efforts that the sales team did, you know, Matt did all this super analysis and changed our incentive pay plans. Kevin Norcross was a huge part of it. I mean, that team did it. I just happened to be lucky enough to be put in charge and got credit for all this shit. But what you guys did was pretty awesome. And we turned it around, and now we are a force to contend with in the industry. And the old saying is, you know, you gotta leave a company better than the shape you found it when you came in. And I've heard a few comments tonight about, you know, you got an awesome team built, and we do. I mean, we've got great leadership in the company in every single level. And I'm so happy, you know, we've got Mark doing the product development side, AJ and Preston doing the Omnitrack side. And we have Steve right now running it, and keeping everything spinning and going in the right direction. Doug Griffin couldn't be here tonight. He's one of the sharpest guys I know, and the things that he put into place, from an accounting perspective and organizing our back lot and moving everything into, well, with Mark's help, the two of them planned our move to Kennesaw from the factory into Palmetto warehouse. So everything was done through the team. I mean, what you guys did, having Rusty here now, coming in, I hand-plucked both of these guys. When I met them in Japan years ago, I'm like, hey, who's the next guy you want? And I go, I want to bring Ted over next. Okay. You didn't know that at the time. So bring Ted over. But I said one rule though, Ted. What was my one rule? You have to learn English before you get here. He walks into the first meeting going, and I'm going, Ted, what the hell, man?
So sure.
Yeah, I do. I said, Ted, here's your first. You're going to get English lessons every night. You're going to whatever school. You're getting English lessons. And I'll tell you what, I've had great assistants. It started off with Jay Moran. Thank you. I had the last name, I couldn't figure out the first name. And then from Ryan Ishimura, and I thought, man, there's nobody can beat these two guys. They were so good. And now Ted, you.